you. Mr. Breuer, I think this will be my last round of questioning. Were you aware at the time that Deputy Attorney General Gary Grindler was briefed on Operation Fast and Furious in March of 2010?
Senator, I don't believe that I was briefed on Operation Fast and Furious, and Senator, I do not believe that I was aware of that briefing.
Okay. In December 2009, Director Melson asked you to assign a prosecutor to the case from headquarters, and in March 2010, a prosecutor from the gang unit was assigned to Fast and Furious. Why did the number 2 official in the Justice Department get a briefing around the same time headquarters assigned a prosecutor to Fast and Furious?
Senator, I can't answer that. What I can say to you is from the very beginning of my tenure as the Assistant Attorney General, I became very committed to doing everything we could to fighting the drug cartels and to doing what we can to stop what they are doing. It was in that vein that I offered the Southwest borders whatever help we in the criminal division could bring. And that's how the very issues you're raising came about. But I cannot tell you anything about the briefing because I simply did not participate in it.
Okay. You said that when you first learned about gun walking and wide receiver, you instructed one of your deputies to schedule a meeting with ATF acting director to, quote, bring these issues to their attention, end of quote. When you first learned about gun walking in Fast and Furious, did you do the same thing? And if not, why not?
I did not, Senator, and that's what I regret.
Okay. Was the deputy who you assigned to meet with ATF, Jason Weinstein, also responsible for authorizing any of the applications to the court for wiretaps in Fast and Furious?
Senator, the answer is he and other deputies in my office, including the longest-serving deputy in the United States' history, who has served for almost 60 years, did. If I may, Senator, for a moment, I'd like to explain what that role is, if you'd permit me. The Congress made clear in law that wiretaps on telephones are an extraordinarily intrusive technique. They're a technique that I support fully and that I think are essential in fighting organized crime and transnational organized crime. And they're why, Senator, in my 2.5 years, I've over tripled the number of reviewers who do it. But as Congress made clear, the role of the reviewers and the role of the deputy in reviewing Title III applications is only one. It is to ensure that there is legal sufficiency to make an application to go up on a wire and legal sufficiency to petition a federal judge somewhere in the United States that we believe it is a credible request. But we cannot, those now 22 lawyers that I have who review this in Washington, and it used to only be 7, cannot and should not replace their judgment, nor can they, with the thousands of prosecutors and agents all over the country. Theirs is a legal analysis. Is there a sufficient basis to make this request? We must and have to rely on the prosecutors and their supervisors and the agents and their supervisors all over the country to determine that the tactics that are used are appropriate.
Thank you for that explanation. You said in your statement last night that you, quote, did not draw a connection, unquote, between gun walking and wide receiver and gun walking Fast and Furious. You also said that you regret your failure to, quote, alert others within the department leadership, end of quote, of similarities. What finally made the light bulb go on for you in the that the two cases had similar problems?
Senator, thank you for that question. I mean, I hope you know, Senator, that I've tried and my division has tried as comprehensively as we can to deal with the plight of Mexico. I'm proud to say, Senator, that it's my division that is prosecuting the thugs and criminals who killed the 3 U.S. consulate officials in Juarez. It's my division that is responsible for the investigation right now of the murderers of the ICE agent Zapata and the shooting of Avila. And it's my division working with law enforcement that has brought 104 Mexican criminals, cartel leaders and the like, including Benjamin Arellano Felix, to justice this year into the United States. So every day, whether it's in organized crime or white-collar crime or cybercrime, we're working. There's absolutely no question, Senator, that as I was involved in this exercise, and as all of this has come to light, that I, in thinking about it, realized that I should have, back in April of 2010, drawn that connection. I've expressed that regret first personally to the Attorney General of the United States, and then I determined that I should do it publicly as well.
I have just 3 short questions, Mr. Chairman. When did you finally alert others within the department leadership about the similarities that I just described, and who did you alert?
Senator, I can't anymore recall because, of course, by the time that the connection is drawn with me...
That's okay. How did you first hear about Fast and Furious?
I first heard about the tactics about guns being permitted to go to Mexico when ATF had both the legal authority to interdict them and the ability to interdict them. I first heard of those allegations when the ATF agents went public.
Okay. And then when and how did you first learn about the connection between Fast and Furious and U.S. Border Patrol Agent Brian Terry's murder?
Senator, Border Patrol Agent Brian Terry's murder is an absolute horrible tragedy, as are the tragedies of the other people law enforcement and others who've been killed. The only way I learned about any connection there was when it became public. But of course, as you know, Senator, with respect to many of these tragedies, my division has done everything we can to hold the people liable. When CBP agent Rosas was killed, I worked personally, tirelessly to bring his murderer to the United States. I attended the funeral. I spent time with his family. And that's why we're working tirelessly to hold the murderers of Agent Zapata accountable and the murderers of the consulate officials accountable.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I have a request of you. I released a report that I'd like to ask be made a part of the record. It refutes the numbers referenced early that 70% of the guns in Mexico came from the U.S. The answer isn't to clap down on law-abiding citizens or gun dealers. Would you include that in the record?
Without objection, the report will be included in the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Breuer.
Thank you, Senator.
For your comments.